that is going to require some more steel. Did we ever start fabricating? Yes, we did. Good. When is it done? 9th of January 41. Okay. What do we get? More planes. Research. Once we have political meritocracy, I might actually stop working on it. Although, having total mobilization is really nice. It's just, is it worth 20% output to go to all adult serve? No, because this also loses construction speed. So the main benefit that we have from total mobilization is the reduced number of consumer goods factories being used. It goes from 20% to 10, and then the military factory construction speed, which is just 10%. So if we get rid of that, we gain 3% recruitable population back again. What's my favourite Paradox game? That would definitely be European Universalis 4. EU4 is such a good game. Consolidation of power over Adrianople. Thankfully, after months of occupation, it seems as though the citizens within Adrianople have finally accepted the new political realities and are willing to become Bulgarian citizens. In addition, we have received much help from our soldiers who have helped pacify the most vocal of our opposition. Which means... what? Still a colony. Universal suffrage would actually give us even more political power, so I think I'm going to go ahead and do it. The disenfranchised within Bulgaria must be given the right to vote. It is wrong of us to champion ourselves, a progressive party, if we do not grant each and every citizen equal rights. Women, just like men, should be allowed to vote for the party of their choosing and have their views represented. They should also be allowed to serve in the armies. More manpower. Women power. Just keyed up tanks, why would you cripple your output? Yeah, exactly. Are there no dynasties in EU4? No. Tip for playing Hoi 4 to the best ability. Watch people play. Watch tutorials. Play it a lot. Run, Fox, run! Thank you very much for the follow. Welcome to the channel. I mean, it's much the same as anything. How do you learn to do anything better? Practice. Play it more. I'm definitely not one to offer you, like, cookie cutter templates or anything like that, because I think that just makes the game boring. So yeah, my advice to you is play more games. Great advice. Everyone should play more games. Netherlands have capitulated. Yeah, Germany is screwed now. The Second Mahdist Revolt. The Sudan has long been known as a land of religious firebrands and fierce peoples, a fact that even the British Empire at its peak was forced to discover at the end of the last century. One of the things which I'm kind of hoping happens is Austria joins the war. Because that would also take a lot of pressure off of us. Okay, we have enough heavy tanks now where we can probably convert one or two of these to our Death Head Legion. You're going to be the first. And in fact, the other thing I need to do in these is turn one of these into tank destroyer for the extra piercing. Oof, changing that to a tank destroyer loses us a lot of breakthrough. And yeah, I'm fine with it. Because I do intend to build like regular, just heavy tank divisions, which I should probably take a look at. Oops. There we go. 400 soft attack, 400 defense, 400 breakthrough. 38 organization, which is decent. Field hospital, engineer, recon, support artillery. Costs 110 experience to create this template. How many heavy tanks does this require? 240 heavy tanks. Okay. So what do we call these? I think I already know. Heavy cataphracts. I want 4 of them in training, please. Though we have no manpower, so that's not going to happen. Yeah, okay, cancel that for now. Muscat has capitulated. That's an Entente country, isn't it? Huh. Yemen and the Entente made peace. Okay, so that was actually a fairly low-key war. I enjoy watching others play. My style is so different that we aren't even in the same realm, but I'm not streaming and trying to entertain. I'm just trying to stay away from my wife. Watching Mordred Viking playing this game is like me trying to learn a new language. Well, if there is anything that you want me to stop and, like, explain a bit more, then do let me know. Towed rocket artillery to make up the breakthrough loss. Oh, towed rocket artillery. That would be more soft attack. Yeah, possibly. We could switch out the artillery for that later. And yes, I'm aware that that was motorized rocket artillery, not towed. I always forget that that exists. Do I plan to join any factions? No, I am my own faction. Forgot the R in heavy cataphracts, did I? Oh yes, so I did. Thank you. November, 2 more months remaining. And I think that we have enough for another heavy division. Can you plot to kill someone in Hearts of Iron 4? Considering this is a game where numbers of casualties frequently are in the millions, killing just one person isn't really worth it. Although I'm being facetious. At the moment, no, but in the next expansion, La Resistance, you can start doing espionage and things like that. So, to an extent, you can start planning, I think, like assassinations and things, but that's mostly to destabilize a region, as opposed to, for example, kill Hitler. How much manpower do I need to fully reinforce this army? That is a good question. Ooh, 150,000. So I think once I drop from total mobilization back down to war, I'll be fine. Which I can actually do right now. I can't, because I'm not at war. We're locked in for the time being. Alright, well I guess we'll abolish press censorship. Is there anything else I could be doing? Naval upgrades. And then those. So, no, not really. And then that one cost me political power, which I don't really want to spend. While Malanov and the Liberals have partially abolished press censorship prior to the Weld Creek, many of the restrictions placed upon the press continue to remain. It is time that we allow the press to properly thrive within Bulgaria. We cannot continue to restrict them forever. The people have the right to receive unadulterated news. Once the Balkan War is over, it looks like Bulgaria has nothing to do. It would certainly help if they had a little bit more to do. Like, relations with Austria, or more relations with the Ottomans, for example. But also, partially, I'm waiting for my justification against Austria to finish. So I'm not actually doing nothing, I'm just mostly doing nothing. And I do want to buy more steel from you, thank you very much. Encryption's done. It is December, so I'm just going to wait for that one for January. Entente invasion of France seems to be going well. Ish. As long as they can keep hold of Marseille, otherwise this whole thing is screwed. Wallonia has capitulated. I want to see the participation in that one. Yes. Union of Britain 23%, Communion of France 53%, German Empire. France has killed the most, then Britain. But this has just been so effective. But this might just be because the Union of Britain started the attack, then Communion of France reinforced it. Do I have manpower yet to come in? No. That's why I need to change my manpower. Sorry, my mobilization law. He says just as Marseille falls. Yeah, that Entente fight is over. Fall of Rio de Janeiro. Really? The fighting for Rio de Janeiro has stopped for now after days of gruesome assaults by the Argentinian forces. Despite the city's immensely defensible position, the Brazilian garrison could not prevent the Catet Palace and most of the city proper from falling into Argentinian hands. Argentina's having a good game. Actually, so is Peru. Decryption's done. That's 2 of you ready for January. And 41 is going to be more factory production. I just know that Austria is going to join the war against the Commune just as I declare war on Austria. CSA is losing to the PSA. I know! It's great! Oh, Chicago's on the verge of falling. Go PSA! I don't think I've ever seen this before. This is phenomenal. I mean, I know I sent a few guns to the AUS, which has probably allowed them to keep fighting a bit longer. But still. PSA is running out of manpower. CSA's got loads. AUS also has a fair amount. CSA just has so many factories. And these two are currently allied against the CSA. Freedom of the press. One of the biggest goals of Malinov and the rest of the Liberal Party was to continue the implementation of progressive reforms that had been instituted a few years back prior to the Weltkrieg. One of those reforms was the loosening of censorship laws on the press. While Malinov had moderate success doing so, he was unable to fully rid the press of the shackles that surrounded it. However, today marks a day where the press censorship laws have been fully abolished, which will allow a freer and more expressive Bulgaria. This does, however, have downsides of allowing the press to criticise anything they deem fit. Actually, one thing I should double check is to see that every one of these provinces is actually garrisoned. No, there's a couple of gaps down here. 3 gaps. And there's a gap there as well. Or is there? No, there isn't. Proportional representation sounds good to me. By instituting a proportional voting system, we can ensure that elections are fairer and that candidates and parties receive the proper amount of votes. We cannot allow the views of the Bulgarian people to go unnoticed. We could make another 2 units into heavies. January 1941. Construction and production efficiency. And now about 6 days and then the war can be declared, which will allow me to change my mobilization laws. Does Austria go in pluralism? Status quo. They just haven't done the Ausgleich. The fall of Berlin. Reports from Berlin confirm that the German city has been captured by advancing British troops after long merciless fighting throughout the greatest city of the Reichspact. German forces put up a stiff resistance, hoping to delay the British forces for as long as possible, but were eventually beaten back. Are we going to see a German exile? I think we are. When's my justification finish? Oh, 13th. Had the day wrong. Germany requests Bulgarian support. The Germans have asked us to join them in their war against syndicalism and the forces of the Internationale. Conservative elements in the country say that it is our sacred duty to defend Europe against the godless Reds, while others say that we should not fight Germany's wars for them. After all, despite our contributions to the Central Powers of the Weltkrieg being recognised to an extent, Germany seized control of Romania's coveted oil supplies for itself and has neglected us ever since. The question now is whether we should assist the Reich. It would be a much bigger war. Huzzah! And Germany is struggling a bit. I don't want to see the Third Internationale growing too strong. Let's take a quick look at the casualties of that war. 9 million already. Against 5 million. Although many of them were actually Entente casualties. Wait, Austria is in that war. I'll send them supplies just like they sent to me. Sultan's Camel, thank you very much for the gifted sub. No, for the follow. Thank you very much for the follow. Callsign Slinky has gifted a sub to Captain Nathaniel. Thank you very much for that. Callsign Slinky, very much appreciated. And Zep, thank you very much for the follow. Welcome to the channel. Germany is too close to dying. I know they are. But if Austria has just joined that war... Yep, Austria's in. And yet there are still billions of troops on my border with Austria. Well, this could be interesting. Meritocracy just ended. And on the eve of the end of the meritocracy within Bulgaria, the justification on Austria is complete. The other thing I want to see is just how close you are to capitulation, Germany. Halfway. I have no allies. Who am I kidding? What allies? Back down to war economy. I should have manpower again. Galicia's in the war and is immediately attacking us. I mean, our defensiveness should be utterly insane. Yeah, it kind of is. Come at me, bro. Austria's called in Illyria and Hungary. And so it begins. Seeing the first round of losses is going to be interesting. Because they're just going completely gung-ho everywhere. Oh, Belgrade's guarded by my heavy tank division. Nice. And we should be getting more and more manpower in the field as this ticks up again. So, as they lose troops, my armies are actually getting bigger. Fortress Bulgaria. Yeah, it kind of is. Just bleed them of manpower, the invincible wall of infantry. I mean, that's basically how I won the Balkan War. No, I'm not going to make non-aggressions with any of you. You are all in the way of Greater Bulgaria. And I'm no longer buying steel from Germany. That's a problem. I could be buying some from Russia. We should start some of that coming in. And we can still buy some from Germany, just not as much as we were buying. There we go. Oh, no. Germany's having some serious problems for some completely unknown reason. Couldn't possibly tell you what that problem was. In which case I'm going to have to start using convoys. Actually, no, I can buy some from the Russian Republic. Here we go. And from the Pacific... Oh, no, that's going to be shipping in too. Ventiang can send me some. Still 30 short. Yeah, we're really going to need more iron supplies from somewhere. Ah, here we go. Spain. Buy some from you. Buy some from you. Buy some from you. And... why are you so weirdly organised? There we go. to buy one more from Germany. Oh, right. Please stop training. This is not the time to be training, people. You're supposed to be convoy raiding. You're supposed to be strike forcing. And you're supposed to be reconning. And then we have 5 new destroyers, who frankly should be a new type of fleet, and they should be on escort duty with that guy in charge. And I would like you to get a lot more ships in your escort duty. How many destroyers do you actually need? You have 3 capital ships. Therefore, 12 destroyers. You have 16. I am building another battlecruiser, though, so once that is ready, it can join you. And I can't actually deploy anyone. I hadn't noticed that. Whoops. Oh, it looks like their attack's ended. I need manpower again so I can get some more of my planes in the sky. In fact, I can already do that. If I just go to these lines and say, fighters, I want you to become a 200. Likewise over here, make you a 200. Start with that. They've already lost 58,000, I've lost 3. And how are we doing for the mobilizing? Still about 150 short. The fall of Chicago. Pacific forces have been pushing towards the Combined Syndicate's American temporary capital of Chicago for a while now. Reports are coming in the city's capture by advancing troops. Jack Reed's current whereabouts are unknown, but it's believed he has fled the city. Can't believe we're actually going to see the CSA fall. This is incredible. And Germany. The CSA falling in America, but Germany falling in Europe. It's pretty big. Can you give a backseat gaming tip? You can certainly try. How and what support do my units have? Artillery, field hospitals, recon, engineers. Although that's a good point. I do need to research the new field hospitals so we can get the tier 3s. Get a higher conscription law. War economy only does not give you enough manpower. Yeah, so what happened there is I was on total mobilization, which costs 3% manpower. I changed from total mobilization to war economy to get that 3% back again, and it does take time to replenish. Plus my war support is actually relatively low right now, so that mobilization is slower. My maximum manpower is actually 14%, we're at 11.2. In fact, it's actually slightly above 14% because of the, what's that called? Recruitment factor. So it is raising, it's just taking time. Yeah, just need to wait, basically. Proportional representation is... Oh, and my stability sucks too. I'm going to start doing war propaganda against the Commonwealth of France, even though I'm not actually at war with them. So, yeah, those French dudes, super bad. Just not as bad as the Austrians.